was a gunman from across the street. It's a Fresh Market, and that's where the ambush came from, in the direction from Fresh Market in the direction of 1145.
So they were shooting at 1145?
Yeah, they were shooting at.
Okay. And was there any damage to property with this shooting?
Yes. Fresh Market also had some damage. They had a damaged window. The window was shot out. So it appeared that someone from the side of 1145 may have shot back toward that gunman, which shattered the Fresh Market window.
Okay. And have you responded to other calls at the property?
Yes.
Can you tell the court about other calls that you responded to?
Other calls that I've responded to is just minor dispute calls. It's a lot of alarm calls there where the alarm would go off, false alarms. Definitely noise complaints where people would complain about the noise there. And then most recent, the Mother's Day shooting. I was the first responding officer there as well.
Was that incident on May 12th of 2024, I'm sorry?
Yes.
And was the property operating as a club or restaurant on that night?
From what I observed, it appeared to be operating as a club.
And can you tell the court what happened upon your arrival?
Upon my arrival, came up pretty much as an officer need help. Officer was on the radio screaming. Immediately responded to assist the officer. Came up with shots fired. He waved me into the club, and it was just complete chaos. There were several people on the ground that appeared to be shot. There was bottles everywhere. It appeared to be money everywhere on the floor. I observed a young lady doing chest compressions. It was a male that it was apparent that he was deceased, and there was another young lady doing chest compressions. She waved me over. She was tired on a young girl. I took over chest compressions on her, continued to do chest compressions until she gained her energy back. She then relieved me so I can get rest. Started to continue to do chest compressions on the young lady. As she was doing that, I noticed that there was another lady that was shot in the leg. I put a tourniquet on her legs, and she was actually shot in both legs. I thought it was just one, but the one ran out, got another tourniquet, put another tourniquet on both her legs, and tried to attend to everyone else. At that point, I took over chest compressions again until Grady got there. But when Grady got there, they told me to stop. There's nothing else that we can do. So once I stopped, I started getting pulled, stating that there was a guy outside that may have been involved. So he had a gun. So we detained that guy, and then, we let EMS and all the medical professionals, fire, do what they do. And now I went back into police business to find out try to find who was accountable for this.
Okay. And on this particular evening, were the shots inside the club or in the parking lot?
Inside the club.
Okay. And you said the call came in from an officer that said shots fired. Was this officer working an extra job at that establishment?
Yes, ma'am.
And when officers are working an extra job at an alcohol establishment, are they allowed to be security inside the establishment?
No, it's outside.
Okay. And are officers allowed to pat down patrons working an extra job?
No.
Okay. How long have you been working in Zone 2?
Since 2019.
Okay. Since 2019, in your professional experience, how much of the city's resources being used for the property address of 2110 Peachtree?
A lot.
When you say a lot, what do you mean by a lot?
A lot. I mean, as far as from a police perspective, we've had a lot of calls there. I know on day watch and evening watch, the watches that I've worked, we've had several calls where, like I said, noise complaints. A lot of people complain about the noise, the traffic. We have to go there to disperse traffic because it backs up a whole lot of traffic. that area. And then clearly with the dispute calls that we've responded to, I know our morning watch hours, which is overnight, they receive a bulk of a lot of calls there as well, because that's when those are club hours. So yeah.
Okay, and would you say that 2110 Peachtree is the epicenter of crime and calls of service for that area?
Yes.
Thank you, nothing further at this time.
Cross-examination.
How you doing, Officer Walker?
How you doing, sir?
Doing well. So you spoke earlier about, you testified about the 2020 shooting where where a vehicle crashed into the lounge. During that shooting, to your knowledge, were there any off-duty officers working on that night? I mean, on that day of the shooting?
Believe there were.
And to your knowledge, you testified earlier that off-duty officers are not allowed to be security inside the establishment. But to your knowledge, does 1145 usually have off-duty officers outside when they're in operation?
Yes.
They do. Also, for that, what is your relationship with license and permits? Do you ever have any communication with license and permits, or is that just your supervisor when there are incidents?
It's supervisor. Yeah, supervisor. Yeah, that's
Okay. You testified about the calls that you received at 1145. You testified about receiving calls about minor disputes. Do you receive a lot of calls for other establishments on Bennett Street as well?
no, not me personally. No.
You don't. Have you received any other alarm calls for? Have you received alarm calls for any other properties on Bennett Street?
Oh yeah, I definitely. Yeah, I received it.
And when you say alarm calls at the location, what you're referring to the parking lot, which is outside of 1145, correct?
Well, no, alarm calls meaning like when their alarm goes off,
Oh,
like
an
burglary
okay.
alarm. Yeah, burglary alarm.
Okay.
Yeah.
In regard to the noise complaints, are the noise complaints? Have you received it for any other businesses, or are all the noise complaints related to 1145?
To my knowledge, has always been 1145. That's always been a complaint. They have a outside, and even though now it's covered, I believe back in 2019 that wasn't a covered. The way they have it covered now, it wasn't a covered patio. It was an open patio, so the sound traveled much more than it does now.
What is your protocol when you respond to a noise complaint? What do you usually do in response?
Proper protocol is to go and address the officer that's working there first, and allow him to be the liaison between myself, who is a patrol officer, and the establishment, the management staff. If he can't get it done, then I will go directly to whoever's in charge to give them a warning. Should I come back again, they will be cited, and at that point forced to shut off the music.
Okay, so there is a remedy available if they continue loud music.
100%.
Have you ever had to cite 1145 for noise complaints?
Me personally, no.
No. Do you have you cited any business for noise complaints before?
No, me personally, no.
Do you know of any officers that cited 1145 for noise complaints?
Not to my recollection.
Okay. When you said there's traffic at 1145, what you're referring to is there's traffic at the intersection of Peachtree Street and Bennett Street, correct?
Yes.
And you're aware that there's multiple businesses that utilize the same parking lot that 1145 patrons utilize, correct?
Oh yes.
Are you aware of the other businesses that are on Bennett Street?
The only other business that I can say off the top of my head is Zari. Zari, that's the only thing that I can think of, but yeah.
Have you responded to any are you aware of any violent incidents that have occurred at any other locations besides 1145 on Bennett Street?
Nope.
So you've never heard of any other violent incidents? Okay. How long have you been, can you remind me how long you've been working
In zone two,
in Zone 2?
since 2019.
Since 2019, okay. And I think that's all I have, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Redirect.
Just a couple. Officer, when you come out for a call for noise violations, is it left up to the discretion of the officer to issue a citation?
Yes,
And normally, is it customary for the officer just to advise to turn the music down?
yes.
Thank you, nothing further.
Any recross? Quick question, and then if you guys want to follow up, you're welcome to. So you have not been called to any violent episodes at the other nightclub in that parking lot?
No.
Okay, I'm
And
sorry, I
that-
forgot the name.
The Zari, yeah, I've never been called to anything violent there, personally.
I do have a question. So, officer, have you ever contacted the property owner for any troubles or incidents?
There was a time where I reached out, and I'm not sure who the owner was. It was more so for their business being burglarized. I think they left the door open. The alarm was consistently going off, and I got in touch with the property to assist me with securing their business so no one went inside. That's probably, it was a long time ago.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so they were the victims in this case.
They were the victims in that case, and I believe I give my number so they can contact me and use me as a resource, because that was my beat at one point. I was responsible for that area during evening watch hours. So I like to give businesses my number so they can contact me if they have any issues. I'll assist the best way I can.
Okay, do you know if the property owner has been ever cited for any noise complaints or any other?
Not to my recollection, no.
Thank you,
Mhm.
that's all.
Any redirect?
No, nothing further.
Okay. Any reason he can't be excused? Fine, excuse Stacy.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Can we call your next witness, or do you need a break? Everybody fine? You would like a break? Okay, that's fine. Let's take a 5-minute break for court reporter. Okay, I'm gonna step off the break during the break. Anytime you need one, just.
It depends on what you guys want to do. How many, if you guys can all agree on how your timing is.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, you want to break for lunch? After we do this
It
next
kind of depends. I mean, on our typical days, we don't always have a lunch, and if it's a jury, they need a long time. About an hour.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
That's what, how you doing?
Oh, good.
As we see each other maybe more on email than that.
You know what? COVID has taken me away. People were weird. He was not in a suit yesterday. I drove right past him. I was dropping them off and drove right past him. I didn't know what it is.
Yeah, I had it on summer. I got it back in May. I got the video like in May. I've been home.
CK.
It's, I'm just trying to share this with you. Trying to, share this with you. Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah, like it's playing. Yeah, so if I do share sound.
What's the drop for? Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's like, do I need to do?
That is really nice.
Hey Nick, I'm gonna run out to the car and grab my jackery and I'm gonna get some earbuds. You okay? Yeah. Alright. The other reporter has your.
Yes, you can, but I do not know how to do that. Sorry, usually, like on ours, when we put it in, you just click on the folder and it says proxy. Because like each one is like, I mean, some of these are like 4 gigs and stuff, I can't even, so there's no other way to do it, I guess.
Gotcha.
You don't know how to do that?
No, I don't know the whole proxy thing. I mean, I got another card in the camera in case they just take a second to transfer.
That's okay. Let me just. I mean, I guess I'll find you during the break.
That's better, I think it was.
I'll have my photographer meet you over lunch to copy the card.
Typically,
Sorry, what was your name?
I'm Nicholas.
yeah, typically when we do
And then it
it
should be
you play the
470
sound through the
806
system, and it
5903.
doesn't also play through your computer.
Yep.
But
806-5983.
the only way it will do it is for like your computer sound to be on. You're still muted, but somehow your computer sounds on. So I think every courtroom in this building is a little bit different. And every day, every computer. So, yeah. Maybe at lunch. What is that? Oh, what? Oh, they need to file a court case. And if they need help, they can go to the 7th floor and talk to the law library or family law information center. A court case has to be filed to do the thing you're asking the judge to do. Okay, good. No. Yeah. Are you guys all ready? Are y'all ready? Oh. Next. Okay.
Hey, Jordan, what's up?
Court come to order, remain seated.
I see the attorney's information real quick?
Sure.
It's an easy one, don't worry, but we do. Can you come up? Sorry. It's hard to be the one on that end. It's fine, I just need to know for planning purposes. You move it quick, that's why I asked, I assumed you'd use some others. Oh, you have one that's got it, has it? Oh, yes, that helps. Just decide as you go. It's no problem, just bring it back. Thank you. Sorry about that. Did they already swear you in? Okay. I'll swear you in. You solemnly swear to the testimony you should give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thanks. You can be seated. And would you state and spell your name for the recorder, please?
My name is Latoya Francis, Latoya. Last name Francis, Francis.
Good morning, detective. Can you clarify, is it Francis Small or is this Francis?
It's Francis. My maiden name is Smalls.
Okay,
So, yeah.
thank you.
hmm
Detective, where are you employed?
City of Atlanta Police Department.
All right, and how long have you been employed with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
12 years.
All right, and what is your current title?
I'm a homicide detective
And how long have you been a homicide detective?
since April 2023.
And before April 2023, when you became a homicide detective, what were you previously employed as with the Atlanta Police Department?
I was still an investigator, but I was assigned to the property unit.
Okay, and how long were you assigned to the property?
About 8 months.
And before you were assigned to the property unit, were you ever a part of any regular beats in the city of Atlanta?
Yes.
All right, and what beats were those?
Well, I was assigned to Zone 2 Buckhead area. I was an umbrella car, so I handled multiple beats.
So the Zone 2 beat that you were a part of, did it include 2110 Peachtree Street?
Sometimes, yes.
And that includes 1145, correct?
Correct.
All right, so you're familiar with 1145?
I am.
All right, and what year was that approximately that you were on that beat with Zone 2?
2013.
Okay, until when?
2022.
Okay, and so you're familiar with 1145 as a nightclub or a restaurant?
A nightclub.
Okay, and what is your previous experience with 1145 as a nightclub?
Well, we received a lot of calls from there. We knew that particular location to be a problem location, whether it was officers that were working off duty, needing assistance with just rowdy individuals or people getting shot, noise complaints, just a variety of calls ever since I've been patrolling back in 2013 up until 2022.
Okay, and based on your knowledge, based upon your patrols in Zone 2, within the zone, 1145 is classified as a nightclub, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then since you become a homicide detective, you were also assigned to a double homicide that occurred at the property in May of 2024, correct?
Correct.
And you're the lead homicide detective on that case, correct?
Correct.
All right. call come in for you to come to the scene that night that the homicide occurred?
Correct.
All right, and when you arrived on scene, what did you observe?
It was several individuals outside that was waiting to get answers on what was going on. I was being advised that I had maybe about 6 victims at the time. Yes, 6 victims that had been shot. And I was at the time waiting on a search warrant to execute on the location. And once inside, I discovered that there were 2 individuals lying on the ground.
Okay, and those 2 individuals lying on the ground, they were inside of the structure that is called 1145.
Correct.
And were they near the door? Can you kind of describe where the bodies were? Were they near the door? They were in the middle of the establishment? Do you know where they were?
Once you enter the establishment and you make a left into the establishment, they were closer to the middle, maybe the middle or closer to the left side of the business.
And you just testified a moment ago that there were other persons shot as well, correct?
Correct.
And were those persons still on the scene when you arrived?
No, they were transported
They were transported
to the hospital.
Okay.
Yes.
But in total, there were 6 persons who received gunshot wounds.
Correct.
And you stated a minute ago that you were waiting for your warrants to come out.
Correct.
And what were those warrants for?
It was mostly for the camera footage at the location.
And based on your investigation, were you able to retrieve those videos?
Yes.
All right. And were you able to obtain videos from that capture outside of 1145?
Correct.
Were you able to obtain videos that captured inside 1145?
Correct.
Were you able to obtain videos that captured the actual shooting that resulted in 6 persons being shot?
Correct.
And were you able to identify any witnesses to kind of give you the rundown about what had occurred?
Yes, I did.
And based upon your investigation, I guess in your own words, what was the result of that investigation in terms of what occurred inside of 1145?
You just want me to sum it up?
Yes.
There was a physical altercation that took place inside. One of the individuals that was able to get a firearm inside of the club retrieved one from his waistband and began shooting, which caused the injuries to the 4 that ended up surviving and causing the fatality of the 2.
And part of your investigation, you stated a minute ago that you were able to retrieve video of outside of 1145. I want to show you what has been pre-marked as petitioner's exhibit 20. I'm going to mark this one as petitioner's exhibit 20A, which is an entrance video.
Okay.
That was
Any objection to this exhibit? Are you tendering this one?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, any objection? Okay, it's admitted, you can use it. Yes, ma'am. Is there audio on it?
There is audio, but
Are you asking that it be transcribed, or could you just put there after the video was played, and we'll put it in the record?
yeah, you don't have to transcribe.
Thank you.
And so, Detective Francis is, I guess I'm going to play it, and I'm going to ask you whether, is this the video that you collected in your investigation?
Yes.
While you're teeing that up, I'm gonna put a pin in this, I need to see them right away. This will just take a minute, I'm presiding this week, and those are the grand jury indictments, so we can't hold those up. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a great day. Will there be any tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for that interruption, go right ahead.
Yes.
It's timestamp, May 12th, 2024, correct?
Correct.
And it says, it's timestamped as 1953, but is that the correct time?
It's timestamped at 1:19:53, but no, it's an hour behind.
Okay, so what time is this, video, what time did this actually occur?
So the correct time would be 2:19 in the morning.
Okay. And, can you kind of describe?
So walking up with the black hoodie and the green pants is going to be one of the individuals, the suspect that ended up bringing the firearm into the club.
And would you just, based on your experience as an officer, is this setup, is this indicative of a restaurant or a nightclub?
A nightclub.
Okay, and based on your investigation, you were able to decipher that this is where folks were paying to get into 1145, correct?
Correct.
All right, and these two individuals, one in the red shirt and one in the tan hoodie, they were collecting cover charges to get in, correct?
The tan hoodie, yes, was collecting the cover charge.
Okay, but this was when you arrived on scene on May 12th, this was the setup that was still there when you responded to the double homicide, correct?
Everything had been removed from right there once I arrived.
Okay, but this was the video that you retrieved from 1145 surveillance camera, right?
Correct.
I mean, he be up here a lot. I don't know who they are. I know who they are.
Investigation, the music that we're hearing, did you conclude that music was coming from inside 1145?
It appears to be that, yes.
All these individuals in this video were checked by security before entering 1145?
So, I'm not sure if you wanted to rewind it a little bit, but if you look at the top right corner, there's an individual standing there. He's one of the security officers that was checking.
Checking for weapons?
Yes,
Okay.
checking for
And
weapons.
were you able to view him checking the males?
Yes.
Were you able to view him checking the females?
No.
Do you know whether he checked any of the females before they came in?
No.
Did you ever talk to any of the security guards there that night?
I talked to the head of security and one of the other security officers that was inside.
Okay. And did he indicate whether the females were checked that night?
No, neither one of them said that.
But there's no video that captured them being checked?
No. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
What we're watching now, the individuals with the alleged assailant, they're paying to get into 1145, correct?
Correct.
Based on your investigation, did one of those persons in that video bring the firearm into 1145?
Yes.
But they didn't get it from somewhere that was already stored in 1145.
I can't answer that.
I want to show you another video.
So is this $10 one exhibit?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what number is this?
It's still, it's been pre-marked as petitioner's 20, Judge.
Okay, and any objection to this portion? So it's admitted as an exhibit as whole, and you can produce it.
Thank you, Judge. Is this another surveillance camera that you secured from 1145 surveillance as a part of your investigation?
Yes.
All right, and can you just describe what we're looking at?
This is the inside setting. This is right before or right after the individual that brought in the firearm enters the establishment.
I guess, Detective, how long did the alleged shooter enter the establishment from the time that the shots rang out?
It was only a couple of minutes.
And so, on the left-hand corner of this video, petitioner's 20 is timestamped. Well, it has 5/12/2024, correct?
Correct.
And then it's time stamped for 1/23/19, but it's really, you testified that it's an hour behind, so it's really 2/23, correct?
Correct.
And this was the scene right before the shooting took place, correct?
Correct.
And in your opinion, would this be indicative of a restaurant or a nightclub?
A nightclub.
And how far after this, or what time did the shooting estimate to occur?
1:25.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, 2:25, the correct time.
So about 2 minutes after this is where the shooting occurred.
Correct.
So this was the scene when the shooting occurred.
Correct.
And you see people partying and clubbing. Would that be an accurate depiction?
Yes.
No meals being served or passed out in the video that you view?
Sorry.
Any meals being served or passed out?
Not from the clips that I saw.
And then shortly after this, at 2:25, the shots rang out, correct?
Correct.
Which resulted in 6 people being shot, correct?
Correct.
And 2 of those persons succumbed to their injuries.
Correct.
And were they transported from the scene?
Which one? The ones that succumbed?
Yes.
Yes, by Fulton County Medical Examiner.
Okay, so they never made it to the hospital or anything like that?
No.
You have anything you want to add about 1145?
No. No, it's not.
Detective, in your opinion, would adequate security measures would have prevented from the gun being let into 1145? Would it have saved 2 lives and prevented injuries to 4 others?
I believe so. Although the individuals were patted down, just from my experience as a police officer and then looking at the way that it was done, it doesn't seem like it was very thorough. And just based off of my experience as how we're taught how to do a proper pat down procedure to retrieve weapons or anything that can potentially harm an individual, it was nowhere near as thorough as it was expressed.
Thank you, Detective.
You're welcome.
Cross-examination?
Hi, Detective.
Hello.
So, in your testimony, you mentioned that 1145 is classified, you classify it as a nightclub. What classifies as a nightclub in your opinion?
The setup, as long as I've been on patrol, that's all we've ever classified it as. We've never known it to be a restaurant.
In your experience, do nightclubs, sorry, earlier you mentioned in your testimony that they have a cover charge. Are you aware that cover charges are allowed for restaurants in the city of Atlanta, or is that new information to you?
Can't speak on that.
When you were speaking about the video, you talked about having to obtain a warrant to get the video. Did you receive any opposition from 1145, or is there any issue obtaining the video once you arrived at the scene?
No, it was no issue.
So you got the video pretty fast.
Yes.
Was that camera footage helpful in you identifying the suspects, and was the camera footage very helpful in your homicide investigation?
Yes.
Have you ever had any issues with 1145, the owner and management, providing footage or assisting? Have you ever had any issues with them assisting in your investigations at this location?
I personally have not had to request video prior to this investigation from them.
Okay. And in your testimony, you testified that you received calls from officers working off duty about people getting shot at 1145, but to your knowledge, you know of any other incidences where someone was shot inside of 1145, to your knowledge?
Yes, through my years of patrols, yes, we have gotten calls.
Calls about them being shot inside of 1145?
I can't say right now whether it's inside or outside, but definitely at that location. That location was named when I received calls.
And when you say that location, you're referring, so you're not referring to inside of 1145, you're referring to either inside or around the immediate vicinity. Is that accurate?
It's been years.
It's been years?
Yes.
So, you also mentioned noise complaints at 1145. Do you personally respond to noise complaints, or is that just from other officers that talked about that?
No, while on patrol, we all received the notification about the calls, what type of call is coming up, and either the beat officer responds or backup officers respond to that location. So we all get, a fair share of calls.
Have you ever cited 1145 for your noise complaints?
Personally, no. That's never been my beat.
Okay. You mentioned about getting calls for shootings. Are you aware of any other shootings on Bennett Street? Have you heard of any other shootings on Bennett Street?
Yes.
You have. Can you recall what the location was for those shootings?
No.
You can't. But you can testify that there's been shootings on Bennett Street that were not at 1145, or you've heard of shootings that were not at 1145.
No, when the calls came in, it was coming in for that location specifically that I'm aware of.
Do you have any recollection of any of the details of any of the calls that you received about 1145 besides the call besides the May 2024 incident you already testified about?
We're talking about over a 10-year time frame.
Okay. You testified about the procedures on checking patrons. Are you aware of any requirement that nightclubs have to search patrons prior to entry in the city of Atlanta?
No.
Are you aware of any requirement that restaurants have to search patrons in the city of Atlanta?
No.
In the process of your investigation, did you discover that 1145 had hired a security company on the night in question in May 2024, that night of the homicide? Did you discover that 1145 had in fact engaged a security company to work that night?
Yes, they did have security, yes.
In your investigation, did you discover that 1145 also hired off-duty officers to patrol, to work on the outside of the business?
Yes.
So security, so there was, do you know how many off-duty officers were working that night?
From what I can recall, at least 2.
At least 2, so it was more than one officer was working that night. Also, do you recall the method that you received, or were you physically given a copy of the recording from the May incident, the homicide incident, or did you watch? Do you remember how you first watched the video from that night, or what method?
I first watched the video off of a city cell phone. It was recorded by one of the officers at the scene. I saw it at the scene, and then we had Homeland Security to come out, and they retrieved the video. They uploaded it to evidence.com, and I watched it that way.
So if a city officer showed you video on his cell phone that night, that means that must have been sent pretty fast that must have been sent to him. That means that he got a copy prior to Homeland Security pulling a copy, correct?
He recorded the screen on his city cell phone.
So he recorded the screen from 11, that means that 1145 must have given him access to the video prior to Homeland Security coming, correct?
Correct.
I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Investigator, I just had one question. Do you, on that particular night, was anybody from Bennett Street Properties or the owner present?
The manager was there. One of the managers was there.
Of the?
Of 1145.
Okay, no, I'm talking about the whole mall, like the actual.
Oh, the property
owner.
manager. Oh, no. No.
Were they called or in any way contacted?
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any redirect?
Just public ground. Detective, what is your understanding of extra work or outside work by off-duty work for APD officers?
Work outside of our regular business hours. If you're assigned to, I guess, the evening shift, which is from 2 to 10 or 3 to 11, you may start the off-duty job at 11:30 if you get off at 11 o'clock. And it's during your off time.
Well, I guess my question, Detective, is what are Atlanta police officers allowed to do if they were hired at a nightclub or a restaurant off-duty?
For a nightclub, well, we're not allowed to go inside of nightclubs. We're not allowed to work inside nightclubs. We're allowed to stand at the door. We're not allowed to search anybody. We can patrol the parking lot, things like that.
But, so having an APD officer outside a club or restaurant wouldn't prevent getting weapons or guns or violent incidents occurring inside the establishment, correct?
Correct.
All right, and you testified a second ago that there was security there that night, correct?
Correct.
And despite that security being there, a gun was let into the establishment, correct?
Correct.
And do you know whether there was multiple guns let in that night, or was it just one gun?
I can't answer that right now. It's still an open criminal investigation.
Understood. Thank you so much.
Any recross?
Just real quickly, you just testified that off-duty officers cannot go inside to patrol the inside of a establishment, but they can patrol the parking lot. Does that mean that the off-duty officer, in that capacity, isn't it correct that the off-duty officers can exercise all, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Although they're off-duty, working at establishments, can those off-duty officers still arrest, patrol, and protect the outside of 1140, outside of the business, including the parking lot areas, although they're off-duty?
Yes.
They still have those powers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, if the parties will sit tight for just a second, can I see you, Deputy? And anybody else is free to go. Before I release the lawyers. And can she be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, stay safe.
Thank you.
Okay, I just need to check on one thing if you guys will stay.
Thank you.
just need a minute, we'll have an announcement for you.
Okay.
Okay, while we're waiting, we're gonna have a short calendar for presiding in the morning before we get started, so we'll just start a little bit late, but I'll let you know as the day moves on. Okay, can I see the attorneys at the bench? Okay. Is it DeFay? Mr. DeFay, it appears that you have an active warrant out of non-complex, and I'm gonna have to take you into custody. I'm gonna ask court staff not to take you out for processing until the end of the day and let you remain for the remainder of the evidence today. But I'm gonna take you into custody now. I've shown the warrant to your attorney just now. So it's a failure to appear in Superior Court non-complex on the bench warrant numbers 23 SC 191727. It's not this court's bench warrant, but I have to effectuate it. I can't let you leave. A failure to appear on your case in non-complex. Well, your attorney can address it, so. And he'll have lunchtime to do some research on it. We're not taking you out of the building, we're just gonna put you in the holding cell, we'll bring you back out for the afternoon. Your attorney will be able to look into this over his lunch hour, and then they'll take you to the jail for processing later today. Thank you, and thank you for your patience. Do you want to take a picture of this so you have all the information? You can take a picture of both sides, if that'll help you. Or if you just want to borrow it for a while, you can do that too. Okay. Okay, so we're going to recess for lunch. Any objection to trying to start back up at 1:30?
No objection.
Does that give you guys enough time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Bailey, we're only learning about this morning. I would have given you earlier heads up. Sorry about that. And if you need a little more time at lunchtime, let me know. Okay, we'll recess till 1:30. Thank you.
The jury room as a discussion space or just office space, you're welcome to use our jury room back there. And there's restrooms back there. Attorneys only. Oh, sorry, I have.
Sorry.
So what, so you tried to do this once before? No, we just let me, okay, just a second, let me look up what cases you have pending and stuff.
Is it out of date?
They still lunching.
Do you have a case number?
Okay. This case is still open, it's filed, it's active. Oh. Great. The advertisement in the newspaper, got it, sorry. Normally people file or people send the
I know, I get the brown sugar cinnamon. At home I do, here I just eat them like a hamster.
Not how it works.
No, the bench warrant number is not unless it's a criminal case. Is it a criminal case? I'm there if you just want to do it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to
you
tell
go
you.
exactly where.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you guys. Okay, so it's a warrant number?
Yeah.
You gonna do?
Huh?
You going back to your office?
Yeah, I'm gonna run to the office right quick.
23C191, is that what you said? Is that the warrant number?
All right, but what do you got?
I don't know if it'll help, but Tom White, W-I-G-H-T, is, you're good to go.
Thank you.
I believe the DA's office supervisor.
I guess I am cool. I thought I wasn't, but I guess I am.
So if you need a prosecutor to speak to, it's Tom,
Okay.
W-I-G-H-T, Tom Thomas.
Okay.
I can leave it up if that's just
I'm pretty
easier.
sure the sheriff's office would be also.
Yeah.
Are you?
All right.
I said, are you involved?
No, can you?
Yeah, I know you.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I don't think you
Other case.
have a.
I couldn't understand what you
You're
just said.
totally out of.
I'm totally out.
You don't need to leave the courtroom, and you're welcome to use our jury room if you need something. We let attorneys stay in.
Okay. I'll
Oh, no, sorry.
just
trying to-
put up letters. All right.
Yes, you have to get it notarized.
Yes.
You didn't need it.
No. just a second.
Okay,
I'll be back.
thank you.
Oh, I locked the door. You know, I locked the front door. We on lunch?
Yes,
Okay, so
that's fine.
good.
Mhm. Just one presiding matter, and I told the attorneys that they could stay on. Presiding persons. This nice guy who just wants to go to college. For osteo.
Good luck. Hopefully that saves you a bunch of money.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Will it mess up if I switch users? Will it mess up with anything you have here?
I don't know, but don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, switch user normally doesn't. And I'll just, if the worst thing that can happen is I need to sign into the Zoom again, so that's not a
Oh,
problem.
gotcha.
And I let her know she can stay, and if the other attorneys need that workspace, that they could use the jury room.
Okay.
But aside from attorneys,
I'm
the
gonna
courtroom
leave,
should be
I just
locked.
need to finish this.
Oh, don't
really
worry about
quick.
it. It's impossible to find the good workspace around here.
Did it say you on here? About this good form? Did he get a good form?
He notarized, got it notarized. What was the problem?
He had an address and then he changed it after it was notarized. I sent him downstairs to get a new form. Okay.
Things are, the address on his license was a Georgia address.
Okay.
I'm not gonna police who gets tuition credits here.
Okay. I didn't want that. Just want to
Remember-
make sure everything goes smooth, that's all. Gotcha. Alright.
Oh, I am gonna take my phone.
Yeah.
You don't need the text messages for my family.
Hello. 1367 radio.
1367, be advised, 200 acres confirmed. Airport sending it to 185 Central.
Receive, thank you, radio.
East Coast.
This program is so bad.
L4 by 11.